two pretty good years. We won 2 years ago, and then last year we finished third. So we're just going to keep the same formula, just calm and collected.
We play perfect as a team. I mean, the results are there.
We played Korea the last two events. 2 years ago we played them first round, and we were down 4-0, and we came back and beat them. And then last year I think we beat them also very tight match, like 7-6 or something. So they got the short end of the stick twice. We have a good mix of the youth and experience, so we gel well together, and we have respect for each other. So just it's a good mix.
Yes, the Mountbatten Center here in Portsmouth sees a legend in the sport, Mika Immonen, and his partner Marcus Juva. They know what it's like to be the last team standing.
Korea win the lag.
Petri Mäkinen. Mika Immonen, yeah. You know, Jim,
First rack,
recently,
7, winner breaks. Korea to break.
Mika Immonen was elected to the Hall of Fame. So his legend is enshrined forever. One of the greats to have ever played the game. And here he is today. They won the World Cup of Pool 2 years ago, this pair, and they are the consummate sort of Scotch doubles pair. And we'll tell you a little bit more about that as Korea wins the lag, and Jong Young-hwa with the opening break for Korea.
Yes, thank you, Ted. Now this is a tall order for the Korean pair, to be sure.
Now, what makes Team Finland so good? Well, this is the captain right here. There's no discussion about who's the leader of this squad. It is Mika Immonen, and Petri is the loyal deputy.
And I think that's a key point with all these teams, is they really have to understand which is the leader and who is going to be the follower.
And Petri does, he's quite a good player, singles player, but he doesn't have anywhere near the resume of Mika, but he seems to revel in being with such a great player as Mika, and he looks at Mika as an older brother, and he listens to Mika's advice, and it just seems to work out well. He plays very well. I mean, you watch this kid play. He is a great player when he's with Mika Immonen.
Raises his game. Mika leads by example.
Mika Immonen has won everything there is to win in this sport. The World 9-Ball Championship, the World 10-Ball Championship. Several times he's won the U.S. Open. He went on a tear back in 09 and 2010 that was absolutely legendary. He was winning everything in sight. And he has been rewarded for his amazing career by being elected to the BCA Hall of Fame recently. So a good start here for Team Finland.
Yeah, and an important one, Ted. It's one thing to be the favorite in the eyes of the books, another to come out and provide the goods. And all these veterans that are here and great players, they all know anything can happen on a pool table.
These two were so comfortable playing together. They won the World Cup of Pool in Manila, Philippines, and in the semifinals on it was a prime time semifinal. There must have been 1,000 people watching in this shopping mall. It was amazing atmosphere, just packed, and there was literally millions of people watching around the Philippines live, and these guys were so calm and collected, and they pulled off a great win over the legends and former two-time winners of this event, Efren Reyes and Francisco Bustamante in the semifinals and went on to win.
A little short of ideal position there from Petra, but you'd like to bet Mika knocks this one in. And that's a good start. The fists, 1-0 to Team Finland. Still looking very much. A picture of focus is imminent. They'll take nothing for granted, either player. And I noticed in the crowd in that last match, Ted, Niels Feyen, and Nick Vandenberg had just made their way to here to Portsmouth, and they were out front and center just watching, probably just gauging the table. We talked earlier about the practice table set up for these players, but nothing plays quite like the match table. The TV lighting and the atmosphere slides a lot.
Rack 2, Finland break.
But the good players can recognize that and pick up on it.
Petri Mäkinen now. As we've seen in all our other matches, the yellow one, the object ball, will be going right towards the side. And there you go. And he's also made the brown 7. And he has left a shot on the blue 2 for Mika.
Yeah, they're having a good look at it. As we see Petra's style again, a lot of power. And successfully executes the break. And this 2 goes. Mika knew he didn't have to do too much. He's got the 3 over the top corner. Ideally, Petra would like to leave him straight on the 4, just a stop shot from the 4 to the 5. So back towards the middle of the table, the order of the day.
Mika's, you know, you can just see how in stroke he is. He just came from runner-up finish in a big tournament in the U.S., the Turning Stone, and very nearly won that. And he's a threat to win anything he enters, and he's always in playing shape, Jim. You know, he travels around the world. He logs as many miles as anybody in this game.
He calls New York home now. He's been stateside as Torsten Homan, also living in the U.S. But these 2 great European players have been honing the American Tour events. But I know he gets back to Helsinki quite a bit.
This for a 2-rack lead, and the former champions looking very confident early on here in this match. They're going to be tough to beat for Korea.
Ominously confident as far as Korea is concerned. And it just looks like another day at the office for those 2. And the Korean pair, well, they knew they were up against it, but they want to get a chance in the match. That's all you can really ask. With the winner break format, I mean, you can get snowballed out there.
Especially if you get the measure of the break, which Finland did in the last rack. Let's see what Mika can do.
Rack 3, Finland to break. Leading 2 racks to 0.
So now what breaking from this side, you'll see the yellow come towards us. Oh, he doesn't make it. And it's going to be a dry break.
And as luck would have it, a safe one. It's usually the nature of this game. You know, when things are going well. And Finland off to a quick start, leading 2-0.
That was a miscue.
Shot. Ball in hand. Turn that off, please.
And, you know, you heard that little bird sound? You know, that's obviously somebody's mobile phone, and that went off right as he was stroking. Of course, Jim, it's very difficult to cue over another ball like that. There's only a small portion that he could see, but it seemed like he was also affected by that bird sound coming from that mobile phone.
Well, I ask everyone to please turn their phones off, and no flash cameras, no photography where any of these players can be put off. Such a high level of focus required. Still, Ted, I think you're being very nice. You know, there's really no excuses for something like that. He was cueing over that ball. He should have jacked up a little higher.
Yeah, things are looking ominous already for Korea. I mean, you know, we've seen so far in this first day here at the World Cup of Pool that, of course, you know, the match can change so quickly, and some of the matches have had tons of errors, but you are not going to see tons of errors out of this two. This pair here knows how to play Scotch doubles.
Yeah, something else that I think is noteworthy is that they both play about the same speed. You know, you'll be seeing Tony Drago and his partner representing Malta a little later in this event, and you can imagine what it's like trying to partner somebody like Tony Drago.
That's a good point, you know, because you know, you want your partner to be comfortable, and Tony Drago, he has to wait. You know, it can make him uncomfortable too. So it works the other way around. But these two, you're right, Jim, they play at a almost identical speed.
And you know that Petra models his game after Mika, so what a perfect scenario for him to be able to partner his idol. It's been all the way Finland would want here at the Mountbatten Center. 3-0. Korea has yet to bother the scorekeeper. Score here 3-0, and doesn't look like that storyline is going to be changing anytime soon. Also noticeable, you know, looking at our scoring update to this point in the event, 2 of the seeded sides are going home.
I can't find any scenario, no matter how you look at it, where this seeded team, Finland, is going to go down here. I just don't see it happening.
A successful break and a chance at the 2 here for Mika. Yeah, more than a chance. And now nicely on the 3, and the rest of them are all in the open.
Their body language is relaxed. They know their roles out there, especially Petri. And ever since they've played together several years ago and won this event, it's just amazing how Petri raises the level of his game to Mika's level.
Well, you actually mentioned that earlier, Ted, and such is the power really of Mika Immonen, you know, to influence his partner in such a positive manner. But he is one of the greats, and his career is a long ways from being over. And you always know you're in for a match when you see Mika's name the other side of the draw of yours.
Well, you're watching what is essentially a clinic in Scotch doubles pool right here. This is exactly how it's done.
They certainly have the makeup. They've proven it. But it's early days, and I was very impressed with the young Austrian team today. But it's pretty hard to say anything negative about right now about the way Finland is playing.
I mean, except for the graphic up on the screen, you might not even know who they're playing. The Korean team is been forgotten. I mean, going back to Korea won the opening lag. Finland took that rack. Then Finland came up with a break and run in their next rack. In rack number 3, Ha, you see there, had a terrible miscue, and that left ball in hand, and Finland cleared. And now another break and run out.
Yeah, Jung on the left, easily the more traveled of these two. He spent a lot of time in America, playing a lot of the smaller tours there.
Rack 5,
Back to the man
Finland
of
to
the
break,
moment.
leading 4 racks to 0.
I always remember a line. We'll watch Mika's break here, and something I've remembered from the sporting world, and I'm a fan of all sports. Obviously, pool is what I've chosen to follow more closely than any others, but I always remember someone saying that the best doubles team in the world in tennis was John McEnroe and whoever he wanted for a partner. You could almost say the same thing about Mika, the way he plays doubles, because he's so easy to play with. He plays at such a positive speed.
And plus, I mean, imagine having a partner with his knowledge of the game. But that's another dry break. That's Mika's second dry break. Lucky for Finland.
Yeah, when they've broken successfully, the balls have laid out nicely, and when they haven't, this is what Korea has been welcomed to the table to see.
Push out call.
And no choice but the push out, and Finland will have the option of whether to accept the shot or put Korea back in. Wow.
Oh, shot.
Wow.
Ball in hand.
What did I just see?
Well, he's not trying to roll it into the corner, but I've got to say that why would you be so close to the corner pocket? It hasn't rolled off a full ball. So you shouldn't really be playing anywhere near the corner just in case it may roll off.
Wow.
Just a horrific mistake.
Playing a push out and scratching. I honestly say I've been covering pool for well over a decade, and I don't think I've ever seen a push out
Attention call.
scratch. That's a nice shot. Well, that should get things going for Team Finland.
And he played that to leave the angle on the two. Could easily have just played it to play the two in the bottom corner. But he's left it in such a manner to make the positional values a lot easier for his partner. I guess Mika, again, he raises the bar so high that you've got to play some good shots just to hang with him.
And the winner of this match, it appears that it will be Finland, will take on the winner of Poland, it's one of our seeded teams, versus Australia. Australia has never won a match at the World Cup of Pool, so let's say, just for argument's sake, that it will be Finland versus Poland. That would be a very high quality affair, because Poland is one of my favorite programs in pool. They've got a real strong national program. The sport is very popular in Poland. It's on television, and they have a lot of tournaments, and they treat it like any professional program should be treated. So you'll always get a good effort out of the Poles, and you know you're going to get a great effort out of the Finns. Wow, this is a rout.
And the few times that Korea has come to the table, the last two, in fact, they fouled both times. 5-0 confirmed.
It's the men against the boys, Jim. And this was a push out, and he scratched.
Well, obviously he was trying to leave it in the jaws of the pocket, but again, I just question why he would want to play it so close.
Very embarrassing, to say the least. It is a very long way to fly from Korea to Portsmouth, and it's been about, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. They could be on their way back in less than an hour.
Five nothing.
Finland to break.
And full
leading
value
5
for
racks to
that
nil.
lead. Petrip, you get a big break. He's been a lot more successful than has Mika been. Interesting that he breaks from the opposite side to Mika as well, Ted.
Is that the... Oh my, that one almost went... Well, there's a...
But look at the cue ball. You know, you really have to sit. Even Jung comes out of his chair smiling, shaking his head and smiling. Well, you really now. Well, the smile's gone, but he's still shaking his head.
You know, you're right. It's just like one of those days. He can't even jump it. It's so close to the 4-ball, and he can't take it up table and back down because there's so much traffic in the way. What does he do?
Well, Ted, you hear so often that the pool gods can be very cruel. This is probably the best example of that you're going to see.
Oh, he's going to try to thread the needle. Oh, no.
Shot.
And they're getting more cruel with every visit that Korea makes. Yeah, well, they might as well laugh.
Stop the clock.
Well, fellas, I understand they've got good beer in Portsmouth. You might as well go enjoy it, because this is not going well here on the pool table. This is just a disaster for these guys.
Just wants to leave an angle. And he's left plenty. And just directing traffic is Mika. Up the right-hand side of the table. And just overhit that slightly, Ted.
Well, this is our 5th match here on day 1, and this is clearly the finest performance we've seen. Of course, the Koreans haven't really put up much of a fight, but you know, a lot of that has to do with how well Finland has played.
Looks like the perfect angle to roll this in and get the 8. Same pocket. Well, he can play it up in the corner if he travels too far. That'll do. See, that was a tricky shot. Mika just got down and knocked it in like it was over the pocket. That was not easy.
Well, Mika is in game shape. Plays all the time. He plays in the biggest tournaments in the world. He plays in small tournaments. He's always on the road playing. He loves it. And he's always in game shape. And I think you said it earlier, Jim, about how they both play at the same speed. So Finland leading 6-0, one away from a convincing victory over Korea.
So they came here with a purpose, and they're not going home happy unless they're taking the hardware with them.
Well, he didn't make the 1 ball on the side, but he's got a ball down to green 6. That 1? Yeah, that one's on.
Yeah, having a look at the 2 next to the 9. Doesn't go past the 3 into the corner. Wonder if there's a possible 2-9 combination in the side. It's very close.
Well, certainly the angle on this 1. Certainly the ball's going to be moving back down table. Maybe they're looking at that. Wow. That would be a slam dunk on this match if they pull that off.
Well, he couldn't get the other side of it. Now he's going to get past the 3. He couldn't get the other side of it regardless, Ted. A little too thin of a cut on the 1.
Oh, man, what a shot. What a shot.
Well, the good news for Korea is the bleeding may stop soon. Because looking at the balls and the way they sit on the table, this isn't going to be long. He's left him plenty of angle to bring the cue ball down towards the 9.
Well, certainly Korea has not put up any fight back at all, but just the performance of Finland. Wow. This is how it's done.
Yeah, and all the other teams remaining in this event will be taking note of this performance from Finland. Tricky 9 to seal the deal.
There it is. Finland with a master class over Korea. 7-0, a whitewash. They move on to the final 16, and Korea, well, it's a long flight back to Seoul.
Yes, well done, Finland. They move on to the last 16. Dominating performance, and be having a word with them just after the break.
Well, the 2012 World Cup of Pool champions have just shown everybody in this year's event how it's done. It was one great pot after the next. Just an onslaught of great Scotch doubles pool as they rout a hapless Team Korea 7-0 and move into the final 16. Mika, Petri, I know you guys have high expectations because you won this event 2 years ago. But coming in here, and I know you took a long trip, Mika, from the States, and you just played in a big tournament. Did you have any idea that you were going to play this good today?
Well, you can always hope for it, but I didn't expect it, definitely. And we were a little bit fortunate. We had a couple of dry breaks, but they didn't have a shot. They had to either push out and once they kicked at it. So I'm just happy. Maybe the jet lag didn't hit me yet.
Petri, you're playing with a Hall of Famer here. He's one of the legends of the game, for real. And I mean, obviously your resume is not at the level of Mika. Why is it that you seem to play so good when you play with him?
I mean, I feel comfortable to play the game and just make your own shots, and Mika takes care of his own business, so it's easy. Just shoot my shots.
So having won this event in 2 years ago, and I know you guys actually played well last year, and you came very close to getting into the finals. But you really are both confident that you can win this thing.
Well, we had a very long undefeated run. We won the event 2012, and then last year we made it into the semifinals. So, and now we won our first round. So that's pretty much like a 90% winner. We're confident. We just got to figure out the breaks and do our business. Where there's nothing to fix.
So I bet, Petri, that it's you don't seem to get rattled out there, and it must be nice to have a big brother out there like Mika, right?
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So you don't really get nervous as long as you have him there?
No, I don't feel nervous many times. So it's when you play good, you don't feel nervous. But when you could struggle a little bit, and then a little bit, but it helps to talk to somebody when you're playing. So.
And I bet you're proud of this guy too, Mika, right?
Yeah. Well, we go a long way already, and he comes with some clutch shots, and I'm confident and happy he's playing well. And we're doing good.
Okay. All right. Congratulations, guys. You're through to the final 16.